Grimoire, also known as a book of spells, is a textbook of magic, typically including instructions on how to create magical objects like talismans and amulets, how to perform magical spells, charms, and divination, and how to summon or invoke supernatural entities such as angels, spirits, and deities, and also demons. In many cases, these books themselves were imbued with magical powers.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Wizard Study. Today we're going to be doing books. I know books are pretty simple to draw, especially if you don't plan on really focusing on them. So we're going to do some basic books with, basic binders. We're not going to worry too much about what the pages look like because they're going to be closed and they're going to be on a shelf. So this is the bookshelf that we did back in episode 4. What I'm looking for is a typical style of book. And this is your guys' chance. If you want to submit a book to be on the bookshelf, you can do that. Go to dracosocard.com. Go down to the assets button. You go in there, it goes into a Dropbox, and you guys can submit books. Your Blender files in there, and I'll put those into the bookshelves on the final scene. So if you want your book in the Wizard Study, just let me know in the comments that you submitted one, and I'll go grab it and I'll stick it in there. There's no time frame. If you're around week 48 or whatever and you just saw this, and you got all the way up to the last week to submit books, I'll go back and I'll make room on the shelf for your book. This is a 52-week series. This is week 6. So you have plenty of time to make a book. And if you didn't watch the previous episodes, the reason this bottom shelf has so much space is because those are going to be some big books down there. You don't put heavy books up high on bookshelves. Also, this is a really, really tall bookshelf. These are like 14-inch spaces. It's a 20-inch space down here. So that tells you how big this is. The guy's head, Dennis is my guy that in my images, his head is around this bookshelf here. So like I said before, I'm going to need to make a ladder, or they can use some kind of magic to get their books down. I don't know. Maybe they don't even go upstairs to get books. Maybe they just summon them from the basement. Who knows? Alright, so let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and hide the bookshelf and bring in a cube, because there's no default cube, because this is a start file. Okay, we want to get this down to approximate right size. Since this is a 2 meter by 2 meter by 2 meter cube, that's a really big book. So we're going to tab into it so I don't have to mess with my scale. We're going to scale this by, I'm not even going to guess. I'm just going to move these. So I want this to be at 0. I want this to be at not the Z, I want the X to be 0. And I want this Y to be 0. And then I want this book to be about 2 inches thick. So, nice thing is we can type in 2 inch. Over here, I want this to be about, we'll make it 11 inches. X is going to be, this really doesn't matter as much because this is going to be how deep the book is. We're going to go 8 inches. Oh, I did something wrong there. I didn't select the side. 8 inches. Alright, now that we got our book size, we can start to make, let's say these are the pages. We're going to move this, if this is the page. How thick is the book cover? Well, roughly 1/8 inch. Come over here and switch it. So if I go to units, metric to imperial because I'm in American. And I said it's in inches. Now I can come over here and say Alt E along normals 0.125, and it does inches. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make this overhang a little bit. Alright, I need to change a couple other things too here, I think. Okay, the reason I'm grabbing just these edges is because I want to give it a little bit of an overhang. So we're going to go Alt E, long normals. We're going to come out another quarter inch. Not another quarter inch. We made it 1/8 inch thick. Now we're going a quarter inch. I want to put a bevel around this edge here and this edge down here. Not too sure how that's going to look on this inside corner here. So let's do this. Let's grab this corner and this corner. Do Control B. Roll it a couple times. I'm just gonna pull that out. About there. I was looking for numbers to see if there's some kind of numbers I can look at, but I didn't see any. I'm going to grab that edge and this edge down here, do a Control B, and we're going to roll that in about there. Alright, so it shows that I have some issues here. Let me go in right view. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this area here. So this face here is kind of ugly and I want these to join up with, I want these lines to go over. So we're going to do some joining here. So I picked these two and then this one, merge vertices at last. Don't worry about that little glitch right there. Merge vertices at last, and then merge vertices at last. And that should have cleaned it up, but there looks like there's a double line right here. But maybe there's not. We'll do a merge by distance to check that out. Let's see. We'll do the other side first. Oh, look at that. This side's already good. That side was wonky and this one's wonky. Alright, let's see. Not too sure why this side worked out good and the other side didn't. This side is going to be standing up. And I'm going to stand this up right now. RX90. It's not exactly where I wanted it to be, where these two lines would meet. So I'm going to make a temporary Alright, so I need to get a point right here, and I don't know of any way to really put points in this program at intersections. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this point here, I'm going to look at the, see this point here, we're going to go and look at the X direction, and it's, oh, I'm sorry, the Y, I want the Y, so we're going to go Control C, I'm going to pick this point and move it over. This is just temporary, so go Shift S, cursor to selected. I'm going to select that point there. I'm going to select this point here so I know what the Y dimension is. I'm going to copy it, come down to this one, and I'm going to put it back. But what I was going for is getting that point right there. And then I'm going to tab out, I'm going to go Object, Origin, to 3D Cursor. Then I'm going to do an Alt-G to put it over at 0. And then I'm going to do a Shift S, Cursor to Origin. So I got my book, right like that.
1 hour later.
So I went out and I found a whole bunch of book covers. I don't know how well they're going to look. I haven't tested them out yet. But we're going to texture this book as it is right now with that cover. So I'm going to pull this over here. Rid of that. Alright, so this, I'm going to apply this material. I'm going to do a new material on this book. And we're just going to call it new. We're going to bring in some images here. So let me go to that folder. See which one would be a good one to start with. Let's grab this one. I'm going to drop the image in like this. I'm just going to come in, grab it, throw it into the base color. Of course, it's going to look like garbage because we haven't done any unwrapping or anything. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to select this edge here. I'm going to select that edge. Come around. Select all these edges all the way around. All the way down that way. All the way down that way. Across this way here. That one's already selected. And right in there. I'm going to do a mark seam. And then what I want to do is come in here, hit L. So it selects all that inside that seam. And we're going to apply a new material and we're going to assign it to that. Later that will apply a paper, maybe paper text to that. Alright, now on this rest of this book, let's select this top, that edge, go ahead and mark seam. Alright, so now I'm going to select this inside. Let's see what, hit L on here, does it? Okay, let's select this seam. Okay, so I'm going to select faces. I'm going to select this outside, hit L. So it grabs everything outside. I'm going to do a UV unwrap. Well, we're going to look at this. That looks nothing like what I thought it would unwrap to. So we are going to change our unwrap style to cube projection. Let's see what happens. Just want to see where these faces are located at. So that turns. That shouldn't turn like that. Oh, because it went around. Okay. You'd think that I could be able to come in. You know what I could do? Grab this face here. That face there. That one. This might help unwrap it. And we're going to dissolve those edges. Let's try this again. unwrap. Oh, I see. It's not grabbing where I'm thinking it's grabbing. So we'll just manually grab these. That one. Let's just do it like that. UV unwrap. There, that's better. What's this one? Got an extra one in there if I don't need. So basically I want just these ones. Alright. Let's make this bigger. Texturing things is kind of an artwork in itself. It's not always easy. You gotta turn this magnet thing off if you want to be able to move stuff over here. So let's move that to there. I'm gonna scale that up. As you see, this image is not the same scale as my book, so we're going to change my book to match the scale of this image. Mostly because if I stretch the texture, it's going to look horrible. So let's bring this down. Since this is a curve, that should be in here. So how's it looking right now? So what we could do to make this look better, so that doesn't look bad there, but that should probably come over onto the flat a little more. So we can tab into our book, go into the first view, Shift Z, grab all that, Shift Z back out so I can see what I'm doing. Go G, X, move that in. Okay, so it's right about here. It's kind of what you gotta do is remember where things were. G, X, it's about there. Alright, so that's that direction. So to get the bottom one, we gotta Shift Z to go into wireframe, and select everything, Shift Z back in. So it's just a little bit above that line there. GZ, a little bit above that line. Alright, now I know the width was off a little bit. Let's go here. I want pretty much this edge here to be out here. So where's that at? That's right on that mark, and right about there. We're just gonna move everything over like twice this distance. So I'm gonna Shift Z, select all this fun stuff, Shift Z back. Then we're gonna go G, Y. So there's about right there. It's a guess. We'll find out right now. We're gonna take this and unfold all this again. I'm sorry, unwrap, not unfold. Okay, so I'm gonna UV unwrap. And you can see it's a lot closer. And since it's white all the way around, I'm going to do a scale, bring it in. Doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody's ever seen this book before in their life. So that could be a book on the shelf. Just like that. Looks like my center is off a little bit. Yeah, so let's go G, move it over. There we go. We wanted this, so this is the important view right here. It's the end of the book. Alright, so So the inside of this cover is probably going to be more of this color or blue color. Let's go with the blue color. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to grab the top here all the way around and do a UV unwrap. And we're going to grab all of it. I'm going to scale it down a bit and G, move it over into the blue. And then we're going to grab this inside edge here. Let's see if unwrap does better. I'm going to go grab all that, scale that down into the blue. Tab up. So it looks all blue. So all in all, I'm kind of pleased with that. It looks good to me. Of course the paper won't be white. So let's get a paper color here.
A few moments later.
So we're going to color this paper in here now. And I have a texture called papayas. Yeah, that's paper. So I'm just going to base color that right in there. Gives you that look. So click on one of them, not all, any of the other two. I'm going to select these three. I'm going to UV unwrap them. Select them all, rotate 90. Not that it matters, but I'm going to scale them up. I'm going to do it like this. I think that looks the best. Okay, so there's our first book. I have downloaded like 20 different textures, and I'm just going to go through. I'm going to copy this book over and just go through all of them. So, most likely going to time lapse this portion of the video. Alright guys, well this is the end result. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below. If you guys would like to contribute any books to the bookshelves, send me a comment that you uploaded it to the dracosocard.com. There's an assets button. You click that button, you go in and drop your files into the Dropbox. And until next time, stay creative.